Welcome back to LetsClone. My name would be Stephen French, and it's been a minute. I've been doing a lot of stuffs with Godot. I'm now teaching game development as a job, and I've moved a couple more times. No big surprise there, but I'm back. I've been streaming on the regular, and I'm now doing a staff training for my job, teaching some of the other devs a little bit about Godot. So I'm bringing that project here to you, and this is how we're gonna make a brick breaker clone in the good old Godot. What was his main scene? Oh, look at that. Where's the Webby? Here's the Webby. Bring back the Webby. Oh, look at cute little me. Make cute little me just a little bit bigger. I'm going to put myself on top of the toolbar so it looks like I'm kind of poking out of the window, you know? Look at that. Look at that. Nice. Alright. This is what we got. We've got us some brick breaker. We've got bricks. We can break them. We got this neat little lighting system going on. It's a good time. It's a good thing. So let's see how the hell we can make this here, boy. And we're gonna open up with the right click, open up a brand new brick to break. I'm using Godot 4.2. Most of this should still work in previous. If you're running on 3, then I'll point out one thing that you got to change in particular. But we're gonna go new. bricksbebreakin.com. We're gonna put this over in, where do I put it? Where do I put it? Wherever this guy is, and back one. Yeah. So we're going to not back this up. You're about to create a Go project with a non-empty folder. Create that folder. Would have been an oopsie. We are into Godot. To start off, we're gonna hop into our project settings up here on the top left. We're going to change our window size just to match the image that I got, just because it's nice and clean. We're going to go with the 950 by a 540. We don't need too much on the resolution side of things. And we're going to change mode to canvas item. I think it also kind of works with viewport. I don't know the most about this side of life yet, but that's what we got. I'm just, for the sake of me always liking this, I'm going to put always on top. That's an editor only thing. It's just going to make, at least I think, if that actually works with the develop game, that'd be kind of neat. But it just keeps it the running instance of the game on top, so I can click outside of it. Don't worry about following along with that one. Then on input map, Godot gives us an absolute shit ton of inputs that we can already use. I'm not going to use them because I want to use WASD and left and right at my own will. So we're just going to do a left and a right for now. If we come in here, if you type in like a Shift A on the left, then it gives us the left. You just got to undo the shift. Otherwise, you got to hit A and then search. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Do a Shift D. We get that. We unshift it. And then come back up to our left. We can just type in left. And now we got to do that thing where we look for it. Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. Type in left down there. And then we got to do the thing where we go look for it. And on right, bottom search bar, we're looking for right. There she goes. So we've got A and D, left and right, all working in our favor. I think that is, yeah, everything that I want to do here. Now for a little bit of organization, just to start us off, this is not going to be the cleanest way to set things up, but it's going to work. We're going to have a folder for our scenes, and we're going to create a folder for our scripts. And that's as far as I'm willing to organize. And we're going to need some images in here, so you know what? We're going to create a new one. We're going to call this one assets. You know it's real because it's got the word ass in it. And should we grab the images? I'm just going to grab the images from my other folder. If I show in Finder, we've got the ball, the paddle in the background. Make sure asset is selected. Drag these guys into it. You can find these here icons in the doobly-doo. Get rid of that. That's making it bigger. Awesome. Now the first scene that we're going to want to make is a start scene. That's going to be where we start the game. So scenes, create new, a scene. This, we're going to actually make it a canvas layer. There's a few ways that you can do like menu and UI scenes, but I'm just going to make it a canvas layer because I can. I'm going to name it start scene. And when we click OK, it's going to ask us where to put it. It did not because I was already selected on scene, so we are golden. You can either add a node by clicking on this here plus, or doing a Control A. I like that one sometimes. I want to make a textured rect. That is a text edit because, oops, get rid of that. Go here. We're going to make a texture rect. Rect is short for rectangle. Scenes, assets, we're grabbing this here. Background, slamming her home. I don't actually know where I got this image. I got it years ago. And I'm seeing that things don't align. So I must have typed something wrong on our window. Let's get rid of always. I'm going to try 960 because I don't know what I did wrong. That should be everything. Oh yeah, it is. Look at that. I was right the first time. First try. Alright, from here we're going to add a center container. Center container is going to do exactly what you think it does, and it's going to keep everything inside of it in the center. Grab this little anchor point, stretch it out. Inside of here, we're only going to do one thing. Create a bouton. This button, I like to keep the names as like what type it is and then the thing. The rest of these don't matter, but button start, I like that. Center container should be putting that in the center, but it's not. We'll figure out why. We're going to call start game. Oh, why do you do what you do? Alright, we're going to grab this guy. Let's go center, center. No. Let's grab this guy middle. There it is. Anchor it right into the middle. Alright, so we've got our button. We're renaming it. We're adding the word start game to it. We're anchoring it to the center on the full screen. We are creating a script for the start scene. To create a script, you can right click and you can attach a script, or you can click on this little plus, and there's probably a third way to do it because Godot gives you all the options. We're going to go into scripts, create just a regular canvas layer script. It doesn't really need much going for itself. And this is where we're going to pipe into our actual game scene, but we don't got that yet. So we're just going to ignore everything that we do have. In our start, if you look up to node on the top right, we can see all the triggers, all the potential signals that come out of just a button, at least inside of the base button. So I'm going to go to pressed. We're on our start scene, and this is the function it's going to create for us. For a little proof of concept, we can print start game, run the game. We're selecting the current scene. We could have done this also in, I believe it's in Project Run. So if you ever want to change what scene is launching when you press the play button, you can go up here and do it. Or if you press this one, this little clipboard icon, that's just going to play the current one without caring. But since we haven't set one, it's asking us to set it. We've got our game, we've got a start button that prints, and since we did that little scaling ability, we can move it around, things stay centered. It's a good thing. So we've got our signal with our press start. Now we're going to need a place that we can go after the fact. So let's come into scenes. We're going to create a new one. This one's just going to be a 2D scene, calling it game scene, real clever. And we've got our game scene. Let me open that guy up. Starting off, let's go to the 2D window so we can see it. The exact same first step, get that textured rectangle, get that, whoop, probably pirated image. You never know where you find these things, you just find them. Stretch it across just so, oh no. Let's just lock that top left. We'll see if that breaks anything, you never know. And we're going to start off by making our, should we do the paddle? I don't know. Yeah, I guess we're going to start with the paddle. So I'm going to Control A, and we're going to make a character body 2D. This is the thing where if you're on 3.5, you're going to have a big change, and that's that this will be a kinematic body 2D, I think. That was one of the big old changes with the 4 series. But whenever you add something that has this little bang inside of a triangle, click on it or just hover it. It's going to tell you what you need. Saying that we need a collision shape 2D or a collision polygon 2D as a child. And we need one. But first up, we're going to type paddle. We're going to give this guy a name. I don't want to just have everything in the game scene, so I'm going to come down to save branch as scene. That's going to give us a brand new scene in our scenes folder, perfectly named. Did I do that right? I did. We've got paddle scene. It's just called paddle. You know what? This icon, this little clipboard with the down arrow, that's going to bring us into the actual scene. You could have also just double clicked on the paddle scene to do the exact same thing. We've still got that warning because we haven't addressed it. This is going to have, for starters, a sprite 2D. This will be given our paddle. It'll be the wrong size, don't worry about it. We are also going to need our collision polygon. No, did I give this a polygon? Why did I give it a polygon? I should have given it a collision shape. We're giving it a collision shape. Shape must be provided for the collision 2D, so that is going to be in our inspector. We can give it a shape. We'll give it a rectangle. And I like to bring this little snappy grid because the thing that I made isn't a good size. So I'm going to snappy grid it down. I probably could have done that a little bit. Wow! A little bit cleaner. If you hold down the Alt key while you do this, it's going to scale things on both sides. So kind of choose how you want to do it on that. Come up here, so like if I hold Alt, we're going to stretch right around. We've got a nice centered paddle. Paddle's going to need a script. I think 3.5 will also do this for you, but it's, or 3 point whatever. It's going to recommend that we give it a character body 2D for basic motion. We can do that. It's going to give us a lot of stuff that we don't want though. But for experience, we're going to take this, grab our paddle. I like to see the grid just so I can find out roughly where the center point is. We'll put this guy right. That's close enough for me. If we press play, we're going to notice one bad time. We didn't do the thing yet. Let's hop back into our scene. This part's real nice, quick and simple. We're going to make a constant for our game scene. We're going to set that equal to, and we're just going to be lazy and drag game scene up to there. That just gives us the reference to wherever that scene is located. Here we're going to do a get tree. We're going to do a dot. We're going to say change scene to file. Inside here we're just going to pass in game scene. We could have just passed in this string, but you know what? We didn't. So now if we press play, and then we press start, we go in and our little paddle's gone because he has gravity. We don't want gravity, so we're going to go back to our paddle, back to our script. We're going to get rid of our ability to jump because paddles don't jump. Everybody knows that. We're going to get rid of our gravity because paddles don't gravity. We're going to get rid of our code for jumping and using gravity because we just yoinked all that. So now we just have our UI left, UI right. Those are the default commands, and these are just the left and right arrow. I don't want those because we made our own. We're just going to go with left, right. What this does is it creates a new variable called direction, and it runs a input.getAxis. This is going to return a vector2 that is either pointing to the left or pointing to the right. I mean, the x variable is either going to be 1 or -1, and the y is just going to be 0. So then we're going to take the, if we have a direction, if we're receiving an input from the keyboard, or if you put in a controller, then it's from that. If this variable results in something, then we're going to run this code, and we're going to update the character's velocity.x, so his x movement, by the direction and the speed. We're not going to worry about deltas in this particular day because it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put that underscore so we don't get a warning. And then if we are not, then we're going to move towards velocity. Whoa! We're going to run move towards, and if we were to like delete all these and just start the new move towards, it's going to tell us a little bit about what it's expecting. Where are we going from? Where are we going to in the delta? We're going to take our current velocity. We're going to approach 0 at our regular rate of speed. So if you want it to slide a little bit, you can make it this as a smaller number. It's your call. Move and slide will just take our object and move it and slide it. That's what it does. I don't care that this is a physics process. It's light enough that we can just throw it in the regular process. Give that a save. Give that a play. We are now in the game with left and right, or S and D, A and D, whichever buttons. We can now move around, and we don't got gravity no more. It's a good thing. Next up, I could have shown you that if we try going off to the side, we can get right on out of the game. So that's going to be the first thing that we fix from here. So in our game scene, we can create a new polygon 3D. Let's go to our 2D view. We're going to call this border, and it's going to say a couple things. It says that we need a polygon 2D. So yeah, we need something for it to collide with, or something to know what's colliding. And this is actually a little bit false because we can't just give it a collision polygon because this is just a type node 2D. It doesn't really know what to do with that. So we're going to give this a static body 2D, which just means something that isn't supposed to move. We're going to give our collision mask that, which when we were out of here, this without the dots is saying that we need to have some collision shape inside of the static body. That'll resolve one of our dots and one of our exclamation points. Now we just need to assign the actual polygon. So we can, it's already set. Once we've selected this, you'll notice we got these icons up here. That's going to allow us to click and point nodes onto the map. So I'm just going to real quick trace out our map. Move over to the side, we'll go up here, we'll go way over here, we'll probably come down here, and then we'll close it off, get some nice pretty colors. Press play for a quick test. And now our paddle just bonk. We've got good old-fashioned collisions working. And there we go. We've got a border. Could have also called this border. I don't know if I can call them both the same thing. I can. And then we'll call this one border polygon. That was the next thing. So now the next thing is we're going to create another character body 2D. This time it will be responsible for being our ball. Now I didn't care about making the border into its own scene because it's pretty lightweight, but we're going to make the ball into its own scene. This is possibly the only one that needs to be, but there's a few ways to do it. All of this could have just existed under the tree, but I like doing this way. So the ball's got its own scene. The ball is going to have very similar stuffs to our paddle. We're going to have a sprite. We're going to give it the ball ping. And to get the size, I kind of like to take, now that we have this paddle as a scene, which paddle GD, you're not supposed to be there. I might have broke things by doing that. Ignore it. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're going to take our paddle scene and drag it up into our ball and then move it down a little bit. And now we know, like, whoa, that ball's too big. So we're going to bring that guy down. Holding the Alt key is not... Oh, it is doing it. So holding Alt and Shift lets me make sure that it just stays both scaling on all sides and uniform from top down, left, right. So we got the ball. Our ball also yelling that we don't have a shape. So we will comply. We will give this a collision shape, this time of a spherical nature. Zoom in a little bit and get that to, yeah, perfect. Righteous. Now this guy's also going to need a script. And it's probably going to need even less than what the other one did, at least for now. Let's add us a script, another character body 2D script. Let's not make this mistake again. We're going to throw it in our scripts. And then, yeah, balls don't jump. At least not in our games. We do want gravity, don't we? You know what? We don't want gravity. Because I've changed how this works a few different times. And yeah, we're not gonna gravity. I feel like I want a gravity. Why am I not gravity? We're not gonna gravity. I don't remember why, but we'll find out. We don't want to do if on floor do gravity. We don't want to do if hitting enter jump. We don't want any of this, really. Are we using delta in here? We are actually using delta in here. I should have used delta in the other place too. I didn't. Alright, so we just got a process for our physics, and we're going to have a func for our ready. That's not even close. Ready? There we are. In our ready, so this ready is just going to run the first frame. Like, bam, we started the game, run the ready. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but for as far as we need it to go right now, it's not. We're going to set that equal to a new vector 2, and we're going to do a dot down, which just means that the y is going to be set to 1. And then we're going to multiply that by our speed. Alright, we've got our process. A neat thing about collision bodies is we can get, or character bodies in this instance, we can get information about what it's colliding with. So we're going to create a variable for our collision information. Instead of doing a move and slide, we're going to do a move and collide. Why did you... There it is. And we actually need to set parameters on this one. The slide just takes your velocity. Here we got to give it. So we're going to give it our velocity. We're going to multiply it by the delta because I'm inconsistent. And a neat thing to do that we're not going to do here is the second parameter. If we come back, the second parameter for test only, if you give this a true, a little true boolean in there, this will pretend to do the move and collide, tell you what you would have collided with, and then give you that information back. Pretty useful if you want to do a bunch of different things. But for now, we just want to collide, we want to move, and we want to hit. We will eventually want to know more things about this collision, but for now, we just want to know if the collision info exists, because if it doesn't hit anything, this will just be null and it'll pass it. We will do more things here, but for now, we're just going to take our velocity, and we're going to do a handy little velocity dot bounce, and we're going to pass in what we're bouncing off of. We're going to do a get normal. Now, oh, that's why we did the polygon on the paddle. Okay, so this will work, but I'll show you what we're going to change about it. So now we have, look at me. Look at me forgetting things. Ball 2D, we don't need this guy anymore, so we can yoink. We can come back into our game scene, we can take our ball, we don't need it to be there. If we save the ball, then we won't see that extra paddle in the game scene. We can, oh, this I learned kind of recently. So you gotta like click on this guy and you can click it and drag it, but this one limits it to moving. And you can do Q, W, and E, and well, R does that, but Q, W, and E to toggle through these. I mess it up all the time, but W yourself up. We're gonna move our ball, I like right there. We'll press play, and look at that. I expected that to happen, but yeah, partly working. Real quick fix, come back into our paddle, change ground to floating. Now it's not going to allow it to do that thing. We're gonna update it one more way just to be a little bit more slick. But right now we can bounce it, and we can't tell the ball to go anywhere else. It's a pretty boring game of Brick Breaker. I think sometimes you can kind of get like that little corner to work, and you'll see like it actually shifted the paddle. That's the fixer we're gonna do later. So what I like to do is, why this was supposed to be something else, get rid of you. We're going to add in a collision polygon. We're going to make sure that we're on our pointer. We're gonna boop. We're gonna boop. We're gonna less than the top boop. You get to kind of decide here. Play at your own risk. We're gonna boop it to there, and then we're just gonna mirror it to the other side. So now we got these slopes. When we created our ball and we did our bounce, we're bouncing it off the normal. What that means is if our ball comes down, we can look at this. Oh, that's a PNG. I don't need those right now. We can take, is this a scene? This is a scene. We can take our ball. Come on, ball. So if our ball comes down and it hits over here, it's going to bounce off the normal, which just kind of means like a perpendicular to the surface. So now it's going to go off to the side. And then if it's on top, it's going to go straight up and down. That was a weird way to demonstrate that, but let's just see it in action. So now we've got our ball, and if we hit the side, look at that. And since those slopes are the same, if you hit it again, it's going straight up and down. I kind of like it. Put as many points around here as you want. Make them different. Make them the same. Make them do whatever you want. This is programming. We get to be gods of our little worlds. All right, we got a ball. We got a paddle. We got the ball. We got the script for the ball. Now we already need a brick. Hell yeah. So we're going to come into here. I'm going to do something a little bit different for this one. We're going to grab a node. This could probably just be a node. Do I want to make it a node or a node 2D? I'm going to make it just a node. It doesn't need to have any position information. We're going to call this one bricks. And then inside of bricks, we're going to make rigged. Whoops. Rigged body 2D. So we got static body on our little border because he ain't going nowhere. We've got a character body on our ball just because that's the way I wanted to do it. And we've got a rigged body for our bricks. Rigged bricks. We can call this guy brick, and we're going to also make him into his own brand new scene. We are in the scenes folder. We're adding them. We're heading over. Awesome. We've been here before. We're going to add a sprite. We're going to take our assets. We're going to take our paddle sprite. We're going to slap her in there. We're going to take our paddle. Throw in a paddle, and you know what? Throw in a ball. Why not? Let's take our paddle. Wow. Take our paddle, move it down. Take our ball, move it down. And now we can just play around with figuring out how big we want our bricks to be. So I'm holding the alt button. Oh, that's not the alt button. There we go. So I want my brick to be like that. Whoa. Like that. That's how big my bricks are. We don't need the paddle and ball no more. We do need a collision shape of some kind. This one doesn't need to have any weird angles, so just a collision shape of the square variety. Hold Alt, shift that guy, and look, he's fresh. We've got, that's the bulk of what we need. This is the first time we're doing something brand new in a minute. We're going to add, from our little node tab over the side, we can go to groups. We're going to call this a brick. It's a group. It is a brick. It's in the folder called bricks, and it is of type group brick. We're also going to add a script to our brick. And let's see, that doesn't need to do much. This is actually going to be the smallest script we got. We're going to create our own code, or our own function. This one is going to be called break brick, because bricks be breaking. How do I break brick? Ah, there we go. And all we're going to do here is a queue free. Queue free just means pop it out of memory, we don't want it anymore. And since this is a rigid body, some things will work. This code, nothing's calling it, so we can't expect it to do anything. And our boy is falling. That is because in Inspector, we want to tell it to have 0 gravity. And then back in our game scene, we want to tell it to exist in W. Why are you? There you go. We want it to exist maybe here. That seems perfect. Look at this. Bricks be bouncing balls off paddles. All right, let's go back into our ball script, and this is where we're going to do a little bit more stuff here. We can get a little bit more information about the actual thing we're colliding with. So we have the if collision info, meaning that we've done bounced. We're going to var, we're going to call collider, and this is going to be collision info, info dot get collider. And that's just going to grab the actual instance of what you just touched so we can check things. From here, we can say if our collider dot is in group, and we gave it the group of brick. So we're asking if it is of the type group brick, we can call that collider and call its break brick function. Are you mad at me? Awesome. Now we got paddle. Oh, you shock. Why is it mad? Debug session close is in group brick. Paddle is not in group brick. Brick is in group. Oh, paddle. Brick. Brick is in group brick. Ball. What? If collider is in group. That was just a typo. Not as problematic as I thought. So paddle does nothing, hits the brick, calls the brick break. Now we ain't got no brick no more. Bricks be gone. So we got our ball, we create a brick, nullify the gravity, add group brick, add the sprite, add the collision shape, add the script, call brick break, go back to the start screen when brick folder is empty. That's going to be an easy one. So we're going up to our gain scene. We're going to add a script in here, just a node 2D, inside of the correct folder, which I think I did wrong on my brick. Yep, my brick script is in, no, I did that with the paddle too. I'm a dunce. All right, paddle script in the script folder. Brick script in the script folder. I don't recommend just dragging them in. Godot can be mad if you have the file open and then you move it. So pretend I didn't do that. Just put them in the right place the first time around. You don't have to worry about it. We don't need assets no more. Probably don't need any of these anymore because we got everything up here now. But we've got a game scene. What is he doing? All right. So we're gonna do some things a couple different ways instead of just being consistent, because I want to show that there's a couple ways to do things, and I'm not always consistent. So we're gonna want a reference to our ball. Easiest way to do it: hold Control and drag your ball in. Gravity scene to itself. Forgot. So one annoying thing with that is if the ball is selected, you hold Control and then you try to click and drag, you have now unselected the ball. So sometimes a nice way to do it is to click and drag and then hold Control and let go. So just kind of mind your manners with that one. You'll figure it out. And then that creates an onReady variable, meaning that by the time that this ready function runs, this thing's already done. And we're going to create another one. I don't actually know if this one needs to be onReady, but it is. We're going to call it ball position. And we're going to set it equal to ball, dot position, ball position. So the reason we want this is because we want on the ready, once this starts, once this room launches, we want to retain this information as to where the ball was at spawn. We could call it ball spawn position if you want. I don't wanna, I'm just calling it that. We don't need a ready function here. If we didn't want to define this in line, we could just do var ball position, and then we could, in our ready function, do that. It would do the exact same thing, but anyhow, we're doing it. We are running our process function. We are underscoring the delta because we're not using the delta. And we're going to say if ball.position.y is greater than 540 pixels, then we got to do something. We got to take our ball, take its position, and we're going to set it equal to our ball pose. That's going to put it right back in the original spawn point. We're going to take our ball.velocity, and we're going to set that equal to vector2.down multiplied by the ball dot speed. That's gonna be the exact same thing we did in ball's ready code, where we're just setting it back to where it was and we're setting it straight down, so if it falls out of the map at an angle, it doesn't just spawn in on that same angle. But if you want it to, do it that way. Power to you. So now here's where we're gonna do something different instead of doing it the same way. We're gonna say if bricks, and we want to get this node here, the one that's holding all of our bricks. Right now we only have one. If we don't do a control drag, we just do a regular drag, you get this notation of just $sign and then it. And it even works if you grab something that's nested. So like say we want to do that with brick, it would tell us that brick is inside of the bricks node in the tree. But we just want to know about bricks. So we're taking bricks and we're going to say get child count. If this is equal to 0, can't type, then we're going to call a function that we haven't made yet. We're going to start it with an underscore because that typically means that, or you don't have to, you can name them whatever you want. But for the most part, people in Godot tend to use an underscore at the start of a function if this script is the only thing that will call that function. When we made the script for our brick, we didn't do the underscore because something else was going to be calling it. That's just kind of a shorthand, or at least how I understand of the notation. We're going to call this one go to start. So we're going to have this error. Godot's going to be mad at us because we don't have a way, like we don't, that does nothing, that means nothing. So we're going to give it a meaning. We're going to go to start. And we are going to get tree dot change scene to file, and we don't have that file yet. So let's come up top. We're going to make another constant because this doesn't ever need to change. Can't spell twice in a row. We're going to call this our start scene because we're just going to go back to the start instead of having a fancy new place to go. Grab that start scene dot scene, drag it up there. We can copy this guy down in there. And now when we have no more children, when we have no more children in this node, then we are going to go back to the start. I'm also going to give myself another condition for this to happen. We're going to say if input.isAction just press, and we're just going to use one that they give us, UI cancel. So if you hit the escape key, we're going to do the same thing. Go to start. Error's begun. Awesome. Let's now play our game. I'm going to hit start, then I'm going to hit escape first. That brought us back to start. Hit start again, starting the game, breaking it, brought us to start. Look at that. Get out of the way. Go back to start. Game restarts. Bam, we win the game every time. So now we're going to do a little bit of polish, but before we want to polish, we're going to make the game a little bit more fun by having more bricks. You can do a Control D to spawn in a new brick, hold Shift to keep it on a particular plane, and let's see, that's 3 and 3. Yeah, we'll do a bunch. We'll make these boys all 2 apart. I'm going to bring this one way back to this side. 2 apart. 2 apart. 2 apart. And then I want to grab all these bricks, Control D, and bring them down. They could be, you know what? We're going to have a lot. Duplicate it again, bring it down. Fantastic. We got all the bricks in the world. But I'm going to grab all of them, Shift, move them up to there, because that's where I want them to be. And if you remember at the start of the video, there was a light thing going on. We had some lighting. We don't have that yet. Right now we got a boring game that can be full screen and play some bricks. It's pretty awesome. It's the best game ever. But it doesn't look like the best game ever, and that's going to change real fast. So let's get out of here. Let's go into our ball, and we're going to tell our ball that he is actually a light bulb. We're going to give him an identity crisis. But first, we have to spell it right. So we're going to give him a point light. What point light is going to do is it's going to be the point of a light source. It's pretty awesome. We're going to come up to our gradient 2D texture. We got to do a couple little changes here. For starters, we want to change our fill over to radial. So we got a nice here radius. We're going to 0.5 for our froms. If I could tab, that would be awesome. That's going to make it go in the middle. If we click on our gradient, we can swap these guys around. So our point is white, and then I like to bring this down so it's just getting out to the edges. Now I've changed some of things. So go down a little more. All right, we're gonna go texture scale. I made that 20, just like whomped it right up. And the energy 0.5, we whomped it right down. And the last thing that I almost always forget is shadows. We want to enable. So awesome. You think, hey, we have a light, it's gonna work. It doesn't. It doesn't work yet. You can kind of sometimes see, maybe if the screen were bigger, like things like right in the corner, you can barely tell. It gets like a little bit darker as this guy goes up, but nothing really changes. It's not the perfect game yet. We're so close to having the perfect game, but we need something to cast those shadows. So we're going to do for our paddle, we're going to go in, we already have light typed in, we're going to go for a light occluder. Light occluder needs a new occluding polygon. Make sure you're up on your selector, And this time we're going to outline the whole shape, nothing but the shape. All right, we've got our light occluder. I'm going to move you up to the top just so you're not in the way. I'll show you again, that little exclamation point didn't go away right away. I'll show you why when we get to our brick. Maybe I can actually like copy this, bring it over to the brick, and like maybe we could like paste it. Oh yeah, we can. Oh yeah, we can. All right, so I'm not going to be able to show you that thing. That little warning didn't go away right away, but it was fine. If you don't think that the warning matters, like if you click on it and nothing pops up, then the warning's probably not there anymore. You've probably satisfied it, but it just hasn't gone away. So you can either move the node or come up to scene and reload saved scenes, and then you'll see that it goes away. Just be careful if you reload saved scenes. Sometimes it'll just ignore changes to unsaved scenes. So a little bit of a danger. But we now have our ball as a light source, or a point light, our brick and our paddle as light occluders, and just like that, we've got the greatest game in the world. We are now casting shadows all over the place. It is dynamic. It is high detail. This looks like just like what you would play in the park if you were playing Pong Brick Breaker in the park. If that were a park playable game, it would look exactly like this. And yeah, Brick Breaker. And as you can see, so if we get to the point where we win this game, we'll win it. Oh, there's actually one thing that is a little bit busted. So if the ball's coming down at that slope that we made our paddle, and the paddle moves into it, you see that the paddle kind of got shifted down? It's very strange, but it happens. And it happens for reasons with the colliders. We're not doing the collisions in the best of ways, but you see that? Like, we're now creeping. We're about to get the paddle off the screen. I don't like it, but we're gonna beat the game, then we're gonna fix that, and then we're gonna get on out of here. Boop, boop, bing, boop. Awesome, we won the game. So it doesn't go down unless you're moving into the ball and that slope is the collision point. So I'm not going to find like the best solution for that, but there's an easy one. If every frame, every process, we just kind of snap the paddle back to where it's supposed to be, that'll do exactly what we want. So we're going to go up to an onReady just because we want it to be onReady variable. We're going to call it Y pose. This is inside of the paddle, by the way. The Y position, we're going to set that equal to the position dot Y. And then every single frame of our process function, we're just going to say position dot Y is equal to Y pose. And it's not elegant, it's not the greatest, but it works. That's what we're going for. So now if we induce that same little like collide and slide, the paddle just pops back up. We got this weird like we hold on to the ball for a second. There's better solutions out there. This is a quick tutorial. This is just how to make Brick Breaker. If you don't want it to go at angles, you just want to give the ball a random angle and make the paddle a square collision, then you're not going to see that happen. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. But it also looks kind of funny. So keep it if that's what you're into. Yeah, we got Brick Breaker. We got lights. We got camera. We got action. And we got Brick Breaker. We can hit escape. We can go back. There's no victory screen, but if you want, you can make this say victory, and then you could update if it should whether or not you won. There's ways to do that. We could do singletons. There's more to do, but we got bricks and we got breaking. You can't ask for more in this day and age. In this economy, you're gonna ask for more in this economy? No, Brick Breaker. That's all you need. Yeah. All right. My name will be Stephen French. I'm streaming all the time now. I haven't been good at making videos in like a year. Usually I wait a year before I make another video. Hopefully that changes. But I'm streaming almost every night. The link for that's also down the doobly-doo. Streaming at Too Much To Do. The second 2 is an actual 2, not the TO2. And that's always fun. My grandfather asked me a little riddle once. He said, how would you spell the word two in this sentence? There are 3 twos in the English language. And that's dumb, because you can't do it with just the TO or the TOO or the TWO, because none of those twos mean the 2 that is the word two. So we got to come up with a brand new 2, or maybe do like TU with a little umlauts, I'm going to call them. I don't know. So yeah, fun little riddle for you. Maybe we'll do riddles at the end of every one of these, but probably not. And I might actually change the name of this channel over to Too Much To Do, because I got too much to do. And I'm not always going to be making clones. But yeah, come follow me on that, on the Twitch, if you want to watch me make a game that I'm making for me. It's kind of a, imagine taking like Rocket League or Super Mario Strikers and clashing that with a dungeon crawling roguelike. It's a hard genre blend to make, and I'm making it. All me all the time. thank you so much for following along. My name is Steven French. This is still, for now, Let's Clone. And yeah, you'll see me next time. Maybe in a year. Never know.